Hello everyone, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our 2021 Xbox at Gamescom stream. I can't believe it's been 2 years since we were together in person in Germany. And in fact, it's been 6 years since we hosted our first ever Fan Fest with over 1,000 Xbox fans on a giant boat on the Rhine River right there in Cologne, Germany. I have so many wonderful memories from back in 2015 with our fans and all the Fan Fest events that have happened every year since then. I even remember it was raining and that first Fan Fest, fans were waiting in the rain and they were still so excited just to come in and be part of the event. And Phil Spencer, Major Nelson, and others for the team were there greeting them as they were waiting. I made so many friends from that event. Even to this day, I stay connected with fans around the world that I've met at FanFest. And on behalf of all of us at Team Xbox, we truly treasure these memories and we miss being there in person. That's a highlight of the year for us, is to get out and be with our fans in person. We know fans in Germany, across Europe, and from around the world would travel to be there with us at Gamescom. And we will be back with you in the future. But we still want to take a moment to celebrate the Xbox gaming community and the games that continue to connect us. When you meet people face to face and you hear their real stories, you begin to understand the power of social connection that only gaming can unlock. This year, I'll miss hosting that lunch we did with fans every year at Gamescom, or the impromptu meets and greets we would do at Gamescom with our studio teams, going out for coffee and answering all the questions that our fans had. But I also love how our FanFest community has grown globally. And hearing stories of fans that are sharing swag from events or looking out for each other, especially during difficult times, that really warms my heart. I love the family feeling that our gaming community fosters. And given the state of the world today, for so many people, gaming is now the primary way that many of us stay connected. It is our primary social way to connect with our friends, no matter where they are. And that's why I'm excited to highlight especially our German and European community today and celebrate the connections we formed with them through Xbox. Because whether you're there in person or not, we're still connected through our memories and our passion for games. On behalf of everyone at Team Xbox, to all of the Gamescom gaming community and fans, thank you for the memories. Thank you for joining us here at 2021 Xbox Gamescom Stream.
Die Gamescom bedeutet mir unglaublich viel. Sie ist mehr als nur ein Sommerurlaub, mehr als nur ein Ausflug. Es ist der Ort, an dem alle Gamer zusammenkommen, um ihre Passion auszuleben.
Ich liebe an der Gamescom, dass ich dort die Möglichkeit habe, mich mit anderen Community-Members zu treffen, die ich vielleicht nur von den sozialen Netzwerken kenne, aber natürlich auch Freundschaften zu pflegen, die sich über Jahre aufgebaut haben und man auch nur relativ wenig Gelegenheit sich auf einer persönlichen Basis zu treffen. Ich freue mich immer sehr, wenn neue Spiele vorgestellt werden und dass man natürlich neue Produkte zu sehen bekommt. Und die vielen Merchandising-Stände komplettieren dann das ganze Gesamtbild.
Mit Gamescom verbinde ich ganz stark ganz einfach, weil bei meiner ersten Gamescom 2014 habe ich so meine eigene Community so ein bisschen gefunden. Genau weil ich immer herausgefunden habe, dass es Leute gibt, die genauso verrückt sind wie ich und auch in ihrer Freizeit Kostüme bauen, aus Spielen und aus Filmen und allem möglichen. Ja, und da habe ich einfach einige meiner besten Freunde tatsächlich kennengelernt, die ich immer noch sehr wertschätze.
Hallo, mein Name ist Paulina, ich cosplaye eine Odyssey aus Halo und ich liebe die Gamescom, weil ich sehr viel Zeit mit meinen Freunden verbringen kann, weil ich beim Xbox-Stand sehr viel Zeit verbringe und es liebe, mit den Menschen zu interagieren, die gleiche Gaming-Interessen haben wie ich. Mein Lieblingsmoment auf der Gamescom 2018, als wir mit unserer Halo-Gruppe auf der Bühne standen und die Fans anschauen konnten, und ich hoffe, dass wir das auch machen können.
Mein Name ist Daniel Heidhorn, Gamertech Schnittgemüse. Und was ich an der Gamescom so toll finde, ist, dass sie wirklich zentral in Deutschland, in Köln liegt und dass sie alles verbindet, was Gaming ausmacht. Spiele, Cosplay, Streaming,
Si te viene torrente, te diría que está muy gordo.
der Entwickler mit den Fans, die auch Rede und Antwort stehen.
Vaya
All
tela,
das
de
macht
verdad,
diese
tío.
Gamescom wirklich einzigartig.
Die schönsten Erinnerungen für mich an die Gamescom sind auf jeden Fall die Xbox-Events. Alleine das Xbox Fanfest oder das Xbox Open Doors Event, wo ich wahnsinnig viel Spaß hatte, wahnsinnig coole Leute kennengelernt habe. Und ich hoffe, dass ich das in den nächsten Jahren mal wieder erleben kann. Wer ist viel voll Bock drauf.
Hey Leute, was die Gamescom für mich bedeutet, wollt ihr wissen? Also ich muss sagen, die Gamescom ist für mich schon immer eine riesige Gaming-Community gewesen, wo auch die Xbox-Fans als große Familie zusammenkommen, sich in die Arme nehmen, Freundschaften schließen und einfach gemeinsam Videospiele aus der ganzen Welt feiern.
Die Gamescom bedeutet für mich auf jeden Fall so eine Art Familientreffen. Es sind einfach so viele gleichgesinnte Leute da, die alle Bock auf neue Games haben, generell ja, dem Gaming unterliegen sind quasi. Und dass man die ganzen Leute trifft, die Spiele betesten kann, die Community, die man eventuell so kennt. Ein Riesentreffen von Gleichgesinnten, die alle Bock auf das Gleiche haben. Das ist für mich Gamescom.
Hey, ich bin Roberta. Die Gamescom ist persönlich für mich ein Event, auf das ich mich jedes Jahr freue. Ich war 2012 das erste Mal da und was soll ich sagen, ich bin seitdem ein Dauergast geworden. Ich nehme jedes Jahr Urlaub, weil es einfach mega Spaß macht, dahin zu fahren. Ob mit Freunden oder mit Bekannten oder generell neue Leute, die du da kennenlernst. Es macht mega Spaß, es ist immer ein Erlebnis.
Hey Troopers, it's Gray from the 4th or 5th European and I'm here to tell you why I love Gamescom.
Vale, aquí ya empiezo. Vamos a cerrar esto. Vamos a ponerlo aquí a 1080. No me deja seleccionar subtítulos, tío. Que no sé si está en español, tío. Seguro que hay algún sitio que sí que está en español. A ver. Pues este es el pollo, este es el... Gamescom oficial. A ver, vamos a ver. Si se pone esto... He puesto marcar los subtítulos, pero... Subtítulos. Sí, madre mía, que no sé usar esto, tío. Spanish, español, España. Sí. Ahí está. Vale, entonces nos quedamos aquí. Nos quedamos aquí, tío. No sé ni cómo se ponen los subtítulos en... Qué triste, tío. Qué triste, macho. Qué triste, macho. No me que no me enseñe. 3, 2, 0. Venga, va. Primero. Y ya estoy más desconectado. Esto de Microsoft, que yo ya no sé ni qué juego hay, ni qué es lo que no hay. Esto sí que es el Microsoft Flight Simulator. El del avioncito, vamos, porque lo entendamos todo. A ver, que echame vamos deprisa y no me da tiempo a leer. A ver si me decís que está muy flojo el volumen.
Welcome to our Gamescom 2021 Xbox stream.
We've got so many great game updates to share with you today. We're talking Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2, and my personal favorite, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Later on, we'll take an extended look at
Forza 5, ese sí que me interesa.
So much going into this, and Playground Games Vision
ese sí.
Mexico is muy bonito.
Mira, bonito. Así aprende a hablar español. Nos vamos a conquistar otra vez.
Will Kate win $5? I Guess we're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Our Xbox Plays team will also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week.
Esto está en inglés y no me entero ya. Creo que lo voy a por.
Let's get started with Techland and their upcoming zombie parkour sequel, Dying Light 2: Stay Human.
Dying Light de los zombies, ¿no? Este trabajo guapo.
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer. And this is David Lubrica, animation director.
David
Hi.
Lubrica.
We can't wait
Lubrica
until
¿qué?
December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the game we have been working
No venga aquí a España, porque si no, con ese apellido.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go.
Let's go.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before.
A ver cómo está.
Probably like many others.
Luego los gameplay hay que ver los.
People had their ambitions.
Como dicen los pros. Lo había hecho, tío.
The virus started it.
Pesadilla esto, tío.
Who made the world the way it is? This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones.
Zombies.
Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird? Met a broken leg.
Poche boca han posto.
Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least.
Qué guapo, ¿no?
I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck. Hey! Still some rats here.
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures.
Toma, toda la boca. Bueno, la verdad que el 1 lo jugué algo, no me lo he acabado, por supuesto. Y estaba guapo el cooperativo que tenía. Y este luce bien, ¿no? Por lo que se ve. Pixelado el vídeo.
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timon? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers, banks, and large billboards? That's what we call a modern Dark Ages.
And it's a very unique design, one very important for the plot of Dying Light 2. But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me personally. It brings a whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks, for example by rebounding from their bodies, jumping of them onto other foes, and so on.
I think we captured the movement really well and made it quite simple for the players to perform. I can't wait for them to try it out and tell for themselves how much they loved it.
It's definitely going to be useful. The city's buildings are higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered some helpers around, like a paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and combat.
Exactly, and it's gonna do great, especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious.
Y bueno, por la noche era más peligroso.
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Hay fecha. No, yo no la veo.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, Jörg Newman, to the stream.
Chapa, con la camisetita esa, la chaleco ese que lleva de aviador.
Showcase, and it was getting ready to come out on console. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious with their feedback. I don't know if you know, but Flight Simulator is one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the launch, really. But
all right.
I want to go to the danger zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on, Paris. So you and I talked about Top Gun Maverick earlier. The fans are super excited. They saw the FA-18. They can't wait to start flying. And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside the movie. But as the movie is still under wraps, so are we. So I can still not tell you that much about it. But there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing.
Hay una película de esto, Top Gun.
Next month, on September 7th, we are launching World Update 6. And this world update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little plane flying into Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of Gamescom. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And what that means to us is we have that helps us with the mountains. So the Alps actually look awesome now. We have new 3D cities like Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany. We have Basel in Switzerland. We have Vienna and Graz in Austria, and those cities look just amazing. They have like 7 centimeters resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we call them and we sort of spread them throughout the simulation, and we also added airports. We did Lübeck and Stuttgart in Germany, and Klagenfurt in Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland. And what it ties it all together is missions. We're having new discovery flights, we have new landing challenges, and we have new sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region of Earth. And this is a celebration of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here.
You know, that is really incredible, all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game, and the way that you're going to be able to actually highlight.
Es increíble,
yeah, it's really cool, but you know, for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We are
increíble.
A lot when you study aviation, when you love aviation like we do. You actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very
Todo esto para hablar de un DLC gratuito de un avión.
You know, the first experiments with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why do we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them Local Legends. And think about that as planes that are locally well known, like in that region, but outside in the world, not so much. Yeah. But why not use the World Updates to highlight this, to bring these awesome machines to a worldwide audience? So for World Update 6, we picked a German plane from the 1930s. It's called Junkers U-52. In Germany, it's lovingly named Tante U, so Aunt U. And we think of us as sort of a digital preservation. So we really want to get these planes to an extreme level of detail. We're going out of our way to really go deep. So we're doing a full scan. We take full scans of the outside and the inside, as detailed as 1 millimeter, which is as good as you can do this. And then we're working with, for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers, who is the grandson of the original creator of the plane, Hugo Junkers. And he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we worked with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs. And then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world. And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right and the sounds right? Does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really to celebrate this plane, to bring them back to life.
So this is almost like you're creating like a digital museum for aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. Yeah. It's a museum with flyable planes. Yeah. So we're working with 40 museums around the world. And it's
40 museos de todo el mundo. Ojo,
You end up working with these curators of planes. These are their babies. And they sort of see the tooth of time in the real world sort of nagging on their remaining planes. And they're so happy when we come in with our scanning equipment and we're basically capturing their planes. And they know that we can digitally preserve them in perpetuity. And we're actually giving those scans back to the museum so they can do something with it. And it's a great collaboration. And we're actually not just looking back in the history of aviation, we're also looking towards the future. So I have another announcement. We are working with a fascinating German company called Volocopter. Yeah. And they're making an eVTOL air taxi for urban traffic. So they have a vision of the future, how these drone-type machines basically connect people in large cities. We're working directly with the engineering team to make sure that we are capturing their plane and their aircraft perfectly in the flight simulator, and that's coming out in November.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that there's a lot going on inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, there's one more thing. Yeah, we are so happy to announce that we've partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association. And every year they put on something called the Steel National Championship Air Race. And we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This is right down your alley. It's the fastest motorsport on Earth. And I actually brought you a little trailer to look at.
So race, speed. We go into the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that.
Qué gracioso. Real time 4K, tiempo real. Impresionante. Muy bien, muy bonito. Game Day One, Game.
You know I like going fast.
Pero en inglés está subtitulado en castellano.
When is this coming out?
These planes, they fly 500 miles faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without going into too much detail, this Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world. There's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so competitive multiplayer is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will definitely test your pilot skills. And you ask, when is it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this and participate in some of these air races.
Awesome, man. We got you covered.
All right, thank you. If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, we have some great news for you.
Ay. Tiene mucho que ver. Juegos indies. Y se me ha apagado esto aquí. Un montón de juegos indies, sí.
And somehow they did it. They added even more games to Game Pass. But let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director, and we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now, we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that, in grand retro fashion, sends you plundering through shifting dungeons to defeat a mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit.
Juego indie también.
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Eisgreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk Age 4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special today.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like from in the game, when you're playing it. You've gotten to see a lot of footage of that. And we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right, through when we unveiled the 100 Years' War and showed Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me. You put me in suspense. I want to know more, so let's go with it. Let's hear more.
Okay, wait, you get one moment of suspense. Okay, that's enough. So what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. And we have over an hour of them total, and they're called Hands-On Histories. And what they are is a great way to deep dive on certain fun subjects from the cultures we're representing and just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Yes, I have. We are going to show you the segment on one of the most popular units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the Trebuchet.
Excellent. Well, this I got to see. Let's take a look.
A counterweight trebuchet was the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances. At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To prime, the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
So
¿Esto qué es? Que me he perdido.
One of two that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle power alone. What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that
No sé qué es esto.
arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that
Un
weight
palo con una
drops,
cuerda.
it sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
This was done by positioning the pivot.
Ah, vale, lo del que mi inglés es un poquito asqueroso.
Vastly increasing the launch speed.
Un poquito asqueroso.
Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern
Un
guns.
poquito asqueroso, diría yo.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape.
Mi inglés es esto.
Yo speak English very good, vamos.
Eso es mi inglés.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. Oh, this one must weigh about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
¿Qué va a hacer con la boca, tío?
Even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Cuidado! Did you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal
Hay que reírse por no llorar.
power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.
Ay, señor. ¡Hala, vaya, hostia, ha dado, tío! Muy bien, ha estado.
I'm going to say trebuchet. Don't care, because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things when we were looking at what we were
Estas chapas que nos meten, tío, para decirle a los que hacen el directo este...
No, vais, ¿qué haces? Vais.
Esto no puede ser estas chapas, tío.
Passionate about history, it really comes across, and we wanted to be that kind of teacher for history. And there's a phrase called humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we tried to do, which is we tried to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well. Overlaid to show you
Hay que reírse por no llorar, tío, de verdad. Madre mía.
Every award you can imagine for media. And they travel to all of these locations and
Que reírse por no llorar.
to meet with these subject matter experts.
Uy, que se escucha por aquí también, tío. Cuidado, que se oye el eco ahí, hombre. O sea, vamos a hacer las cosas bien, vamos a ser profesionales, ¿eh? Es profesionales, ¿eh? No sea inútil.
Es de ser inútil. We've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on history segments. Anything else that you can tell us fans about what we can expect, looking forward to? Any favorites you got coming up?
Podría poner un poquito de música, esto, ¿no? ¿Qué?
Well, I think my personal favorite is one called Medieval Surgery. And I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about.
Pero nos distraemos un poco. Colocan chapa por el vídeo, tío. A este hombre hay que decirle...
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
que vamos. Mira que los juegos de estrategia chica esta parece un personaje de Cyberpunk, ¿eh? Ese corte de pelo. Cyberpunk, ¿no? Inglés, ya sabemos que...
Yo speak English very good, vamos.
Es en inglés.
Pre-order the game right now, and of course we will be there day one. Xbox Game Pass for PC as well, so anyone that's on that, just grab the game and start playing. But
yes, I believe you are a part of something very special.
Yes, so Gamescom 7 a.m. Pacific time. There's some cars related in there, so if
Something very deep inside us, the major in their mind, like the ice cream.
I like it very much. Adam, thank you so much for joining us here. Always a pleasure.
Bueno.
Empire 4 fantastic. So I cannot wait. October 28th, neither should you. And we have tons coming up here today, including a new update for PlayStation 2 and an live with our friends at Playground Games. But now, check out the gallery. Flying the skies, Microsoft Flight Sim to a different class.
That's right, kids. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PC, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox Console. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. Waiting to install, or running out of hard drive space, or waiting to patch, and no buying a new console just to play with your friends. See how efficient cloud gaming will bring people together without barriers.
Pero eso yo que me gustaría probarlo en la tele, como el... Ya lo diré. O ¿cómo se llama? El Google ese, coño. Tío, va. Pueden ser considerados.
Cloud gaming is phenomenal. That's pretty great. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
This actually looks so good.
Games are large and you want to keep the ones that you know you love on your hard drive, Xbox Cloud Gaming is about being able to discover the new ones right away. It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
Pero claro, si yo juego con la... Eso es lo que tengo que mirar yo tengo la One S. Si juego con la One S, puedo ponerlo a 4K el juego.
This is like the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Oh, 60 frames? That's actually very smooth.
The process itself to get into cloud gaming feels like you're playing on console, right? You go, you find the game you want, you press play.
It's so easy nowadays. You can pick up any device and pretty much play any Xbox game on Game Pass.
If my friends have titles that I don't have yet, I can just wait for them to send me an invite. It makes content just so much more accessible.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits of having to be on a specific platform or a specific console. Play on PC and mobile, and now on Gen 8.
Yeah, Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the ability, because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to play games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play
Pues
without.
lo que está diciendo según lo que digo yo.
When it comes to thinking about how we can make
Según
content
pone
more
eso,
readily available and let people play where they want to.
tengo que probarlo.
So, yeah, I'm ready for cloud gaming right now. Let's do it. When's the release date? When does it release?
Finales de 2021. Vale, pues entonces la One S de momento se va a quedar en casa.
August 9th saw the release of the free optimized update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on the Xbox Series S and X. With beautiful and rich visuals, thanks to the addition of ray tracing and improved materials alongside performance
Y con este juego no pude,
updates, this
tío.
is the perfect opportunity to
Este juego le he dado dos
journey
oportunidades y no he podido, tío.
experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor, grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this world.
Agreed. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some ID at Xbox titles over the next few days, including 12 Minutes and The Big Con.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join the live Q&A to get your burning questions answered. You can catch all of those streams on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, don't forget our friends at Playground Games will give us an extended look at their monument to motoring in Mexico later on.
Más tarde, esto lo tengo dejando por el final.
Includes never before seen areas of the game map, plus cars that have never been in the Forza franchise before. I've loved everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far, and I can't wait. Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
Well, right you are, Paris. Let's talk Wasteland 3. Their newest DLC introduces us to a new cult. The Cult of the Holy Detonation.
Detonación. Sagrada detonación. Está esto de la risa.
Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, we've changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path. The Holy Detonation's life-giving glow.
Es el Hades este, ¿no? No lo he leído. Pues no sé cuál es. No, Hades no. Sí, no sé. Tengo ni idea.
Join us, Rangers.
5 de octubre. Para vosotros. Consumidores.
With new patches, bug fixes, and added features, like a fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age to really savor the game's bouquet. We're talking with InXile game director David.
Venga, otra chapa, tío, no, por favor, tío.
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
Is coming out on October 5th, but we
Vaya
know,
tela.
InXile Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very long time, so can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working.
Eso de Wall exclusivo, Wall Premiere o Wall mierda, eso no sale hoy. ¿O qué?
Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community, we've fixed bugs, added stability, and I really think that
Pues se
the
ve que no.
version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC is called The Cult of the Holy Detonation. Now, talk about that a little bit. Tell me what's going to go into this DLC. What should we be excited about?
Right, so you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right?
Yes.
For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. It's designed to outlast a nuclear winter.
Yeah.
And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find 2 warring cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the Holy Detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment that they worship as a god.
Yeah.
And, these cultists are insane, they're mutated, they've gone totally mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you and your entire ranger team. How generous.
Yeah, that sounds a lot cooler than some of the cults I may have joined in the past. But this is typical Wasteland fashion. We're really going to be able to get in there and mix it up, right?
Right. So you and your ranger team insert yourself right smack dab in the middle of their holy war, which, you know, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the Holy Detonation, Cheyenne Mountain, and ultimately all of Colorado. This is really your game to craft and mold.
That's awesome. So the last expansion was the Battle of Steeltown, right? Yeah. You had giant robots and things like that. So, you know, what are you going to do to actually top something like that from the last expansion?
Right. So we wanted like returning players to find something that they could never find in another version or like in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland style dungeon crawl. And in there, you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration. You're meeting these crazy cultists who have been locked in this like pre-war time capsule, and some of the raddest boss battles we have ever been able to build in a Wasteland game.
That's awesome. I want to get back to the crazy cultists, but talk to me about these big boss battles. I want to hear more about that.
Right. So we took the best parts of Wasteland combat and we breathed new life into it with objective-based combat, which are basically super rad boss battles. It's no longer you're like huddling in a corner, throwing down turrets, just going on murderous rampages. It's not about killing, it's about getting the job done. And so now combat doesn't end until the mission is over. We send you on proper combat missions. You're in there breaking into prisons, rescuing POWs. You're disrupting these high-tech cultist rituals. You are splitting your fire team and coordinating like you never have had to before. Like everyone on your team has a job, and I really think this is going to take old players who know their ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat and making it new, exciting, and challenging in a like mentally in a way we haven't been able to really do before with just straight up murder combat.
Now, Wasteland has a reputation for getting a little silly.
Right.
What are some of the weird characters we can expect in some of
¿Qué
the
es esto?
encounters?
Full of the Holy Detonation.
With Cult of the Holy Detonation, we really got
Está
to
hablando
our
tanto rato de un
devs
DLC,
let them
tío.
be creative and fun and silly. Like Exile's modus
Vaya tela.
operandi is if we're like brainstorming and something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it, and we pick up the pieces afterwards because we want to make something.
Nada, por vídeo. ¿Cuál ponemos? A ver este.
Having fun, our fans are gonna have fun. You out here tonight to have a real good time. Like really letting so we gonna have one of the craziest times you ever had.
A mí nos distraemos un poco, tío.
We going into a brand new series. I need y'all to make some noise. And so, for instance, one of the characters we meet, make some noise. Is a slattering beast. That's what I'm talking about. Let's start the countdown. But he's like the nicest guy in Cheyenne Mountain. Like you meet him and he's like,
8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, are you ready?
And another one of my favorites is the Freak. He's what you get if you took like 20 cultists and you like melted them into a big pile, kind of like I would do this with like a magnifying.
Madre mía, qué chapa nos está metiendo, tío. Por favor.
And getting to build like this totally out there, wild, extreme character was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to like explore like what makes this cult tick, and he's an absolute blast. Hell, even some of the weapons that you find in Cheyenne Mountain, they're devolved cultists. Like there's one guy and he kind of looks like this like vomiting bagpipe creature, and he has this real like kill me vibe about him. But we get to play with these fun body horror themes that let us jackknife between sort of like dark and serious and like goofy and funny, which is a line that Wasteland really loves to ride. Like, you know, a lot of really important stuff is at stake, but you know, it's Wasteland music stuff.
Now, you talked before, you've been working on Wasteland 3 for a while. There's already expansions that are out there. But say I'm a new player. Say I'm watching this right now and I'm like, man, I want to get into Wasteland 3. What would you suggest to me?
And like I said, and so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection.
Okay.
That's the base game plus Cult of the Holy Detonation and Battle of Steeltown, all for a discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3.
Pasala ya, tío.
And then you can get both expansions with the
all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out on October 5th.
That is awesome. That Nathan on October 5th. David, thank you so much.
Por fin. Sea of Thieves, el de los piratas. He jugado. Lo estuve probando, está bien, pero vamos. Sí, para jugar con gente. Especial de que. Parte de. Venga, va, acaba el vídeo. Tío, de Borderlands. Borderlands. Tengo el 3 ahí abandonado, tío. Es el barco de Borderlands, tío. Qué guapo. Inspirado en inspirado no, es copiado de Borderlands.
Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves, and we're giving all of our players a chance to earn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring this ship to life, and giving all of our players the chance to earn it as part of this live event that we've cunningly titled Mayhem. You might notice the link, so you can probably guess.
Creo que actualizar el overlay de Twitch, porque lo llama más antiguo que la tos.
Posts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what you need to go do to earn the ship set. So we hope everybody gets a chance to take part in this awesome time-limited event. So it starts today, and it runs through to September the 7th. So that's the time period you've got to get your hands on the Mayhem ship set. And I think that's it from me. So, as always, I will see you on the seas.
Hostia. Qué guapo eso, ¿eh? Este juego con amigos tiene que ser la hostia. Yo lo poco que probé y los días que lo estoy jugando estaba muy divertido. Y eso claro, fue por el principio que no había nada. El State of Decay, ¿no? Este. Otro juego, los otros juegos de supervivencia, tío, no puedo con ellos, tío.
But now, it's hope that brings us back together. It reunites old friends. It builds new bonds. And in the face of a growing threat,
Juego de supervivencia no puedo, tío.
is the greatest weapon we have.
Nuevo mapa. ¿Qué pasa? Está bien, si esto de pensar que el cooperativo no era muy. No contaba para uno o para otro, no sé, un poco raro.
Welcome back to Trumbull Valley.
Bueno, no me fijo la fecha. Pero tampoco me interesa.
Well, just like zombies themselves, it seems everything old is new again.
Pero que me van a traer, tío, otra vez, tío. Otra vez.
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
Hello, Wonder, how are you? Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here. Talk about the Homecoming update released
Otra chava, no,
October
bueno.
1st. We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
You are indeed. So let's talk about the Homecoming
Hostia, no he
update.
probado la
Obviously,
actualización
we
nueva
are coming
del
back to Trumbull Valley.
Cyberpunk.
We were there for Heartland, the update back in 2019. Talk to me about the differences, and I'll sit right here and listen because you're adorable.
So Heartland is the story mode within the game, but it's a very linear, narrative-driven experience.
A ver, mientras que da la chapa esta, voy a probarlo.
So that's all changed with the Trumbull Valley map. It is the 5th core open world map. It's fully remastered, and it expands into 2 territories that were completely inaccessible in Heartland. So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities there, and really start exploring everything that the new map has to offer.
Wow, que 2000 jugando a eso, tío.
Yeah,
¿Ha dado
exactly
7?
right. So the events in Heartland kind of play out
Vamos a darle a
what
jugar.
happens in Trumbull Valley. So we think of it as the 3rd part of our Trumbull saga.
Yo lo voy a
which
probar a ver
began with
cómo.
The original State of Decay game continued into Heartland, and now we see what has happened since then and what
¿Cómo va?
storylines might be coming to a close. So there is a lot for players to discover, a lot of environmental storytelling to find, and things have
Hombre, sí,
changed.
permitir acceso. Si no permito, ¿me vas a dejar jugar?
Might remember. So that's going to be exciting.
Interesting. Well, and anytime you expand something like Trumbull Valley, you just have to have a juggernaut of content, pun intended. Talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are that players can get in on here now in the expanded.
Que se asuste que solo voy a.
A ton of new content. In fact, we're doing something
No me da tiempo a leer el chat.
Trumbull Valley map. There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons.
Invadiendo.
We've got 6 new bases, 2 new achievements for achievement.
No lo tiene disponible, ¿no? Contenido adicional. Instalado. ¿Lo tengo instalado?
So excited for people to find them.
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't care who
A ver.
the second lunch of the day. That works out great. Well,
Tenemos como invitada a la teniente Sara Krakowski, portavoz del Departamento de Policía. Hola, querida. Bienvenida al programa.
How has that impacted the community? How has that impacted the game? Talk
A ver,
about
aquí cómo va esto.
Fantastic, and we have an amazing community. We love them so much. In fact, one of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting for us to be able to say.
Te diría que la sincronización vertical no está activada,
We
¿verdad?
have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10 million
Gráficos.
lifetime players.
10 million lifetime hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that. That is
Really grateful.
Incredible, amazing news. Congratulations to you and the entire team at
Thank
Undead
you.
Labs, man. Fantastic work. Well, speaking of Xbox Game Pass, let's give me the deets one more time when it comes to the update.
So the update releases September 1st. It's a free update for all State of Decay 2 owners, and it's included with Xbox Game Pass. Happy homecoming.
I love it. Thank you, Wonder, very much.
My pleasure.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Akria.
Tendría que.
Trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples of long-dead god kings, and a
¿De mi
hell of
coche?
hack and slash. All this awaits.
Dejanea definitivo en la zona 0 de 3. Bueno, parece que va bien, ¿no? ¿Cómo salgo de aquí, tío? Hemos salido. Ya está. Probado está. No he probado mucho, pero bueno. Stray Blade.
In Stray Blade, you discover
Stray Blade, pero por lo dicho
the
bien.
Lost Valley of Akria, a world which ranges from overgrown purple to crazy and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your victories and plenty of dudes to stab in blade-to-blade combat. If that weren't enough, you even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out. Between the epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Stray Blade.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, Game Director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Stray Blade.
Stray Blade. No me suena de nada.
Stray Blade is an action RPG where you play a rogue
De
adventurer
rol.
who is exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, master the powers of the 3 Akrian metals to restore balance to this war-torn land.
That is the how, as well as the why.
Combat and exploration are the 2 key elements.
Tío, qué micro, tío. Me parece.
Let's dive into the combat first.
¿Qué pollas pasa aquí?
System merges strategic anticipation of enemy attacks with split-second blade-to-blade reactions. It is the high noon of skill-based melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating fluid, well-readable animations.
Esto es como Dark Souls, eso, ¿no?
You can choose from multiple weapon categories
Quita, quita.
that can be combined to fit your
Y
playstyle.
los juegos difíciles
Now, let's take a look at the
no me
exploration.
gustan.
Kriya's colorful world ranges from overgrown city ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing world, bristling with adventure. Every discovery holds treasure. Find rare materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey, where every victory impacts the world around you. When you die, time keeps moving forward. Enemies killed stay dead, new foes invade camps that you weakened, and when Boji revives you, only one thing is certain. The change you brought shapes what now awaits you. And of course, get ready for epic boss fights.
Pum, 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 pum.
We hope you enjoyed the first look at Strayblade, which will be out next year. And keep an eye on our social media channels for more information.
¿Cuándo sale? Para mí en 2022. Ah, a seguir esperando.
Next up, one of the most unique games finally comes to Xbox.
Yeah, unique. As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly...
Uy, flojo veo yo esto,
Unique.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing.
No adivinaba, pues si ponía por detrás el título, es normal. Madre mía. Si ponía por detrás el título.
Yeah, it's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have been refined to bring that grand strategy experience to a controller.
Not to mention bringing the grand strategy experience to my comfy living room couch.
We'll all be ruling from our throne room soon enough. Check out Crusader Kings 3 now, coming to Xbox consoles.
Realmente en consola.
My son, we must never forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed. He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers, not swords. Only the small-minded measure success across the span of a single life. The real game is played across
A mí estos juegos... Como que no, ¿eh?
You see, real strategy requires cunning.
Como que no. Lo siento muchísimo. Coño, ¿qué he hecho?
Crusader Kings 3 is wild. You really haven't lived until you've made an 8-year-old the King of England.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all gotten into some weird stuff this past year.
Weird like diving into people's brains and exploring their mental universes projected into a psychedelic 60s wonderland kind of weird?
Exactly that kind of weird, which means I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel. It has been so long.
There really is something special about Psychonauts, isn't it?
There really is indeed. Now, think about this. 2005, when Psychonauts originally came out, was a different time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that year, we're talking Resident Evil 4, Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure, but they were all big, beefy shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here. Enjoy this long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
Este no sé si está ya en Game Pass.
Today is my first day on the job.
Get ready, Rasputin.
Did you forget everything I taught you about levitation, Rasputin?
I'm not supposed to check out equipment to interns.
No sé, no, yo no tengo ya estómago para jugar a esto. No estómago, o sea, ciencia.
We were all new ones, in case you forgot. I've got eyes on the target. And I've got eyes on me.
All I see is another unruly peasant.
Oh boy.
Ay.
It wouldn't be the first time the Psychonauts underestimated Maligula's power.
Leave it to me.
25 de agosto con el Game Pass. De agosto mañana, ¿no? Hoy. No sé qué día es hoy, sí. No tengo ni idea. ¿De vacaciones? El 24.
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The meat circus level, it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game.
Si es difícil, ya no lo voy a probar.
16 years ago.
Porque yo soy un poquillo...
Es de ser inútiles, ¿eh?
No, otra vez no van a traer a gente para que nos den la chapa, tío, por favor.
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
Os pongo música. Voy a poner el vídeo. ¿Este cuál es?
And even though it has been a lot of years, it's a game that matters a lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know there's a lot of fans that meant a lot to them. And so we really want to be true to the spirit of the first game, which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same voice actors, and we also have a lot of people on the team here that worked on the first game, as well as bringing on a bunch of new people, like we said.
Pongo vídeo.
It was really important for us
Y copyright.
to carry the legacy forward, especially in the style of launch.
Así no nos aburrimos.
Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be a kind of a trippy idea if you're not familiar. Psychonauts, they still jump
Yo tengo que esperar una hora y media para ver un poco de Forza Horizon 5. ¿Qué manda?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different based on their personality. You could jump into someone's mind. What would it look like? What would be the color of the sky? And like who would the monsters be? And in Psychonauts, you get to do that because Raz has the power of active concentration. And when he goes in, he gets to fight those monsters and help people deal with their nightmares and wrestle with their inner demons. And so there's a ton of variety, and there's a lot of anything goes. You can go to any location, you can have any art style, and coming up with new levels for the second game was really fun.
Let's talk a little bit about how that kind of concept expresses itself in the game world. I mean, Psychonauts 2.
Me acaban de romper los auriculares.
Yeah, it was really important for us to carry forward the gray worlds and unique levels from the first game.
Vaya.
Style as well.
Porque como que no quiere la cosa, ¿eh?
How we could bring forward that style and want, and also bring in new levels and enemies.
Yeah, of course, it wouldn't be
Sí,
Psychonauts without
me acaban de romper.
and I'm sure it's happening in Psychonauts 2. What does this mean?
Pues no, todavía no me he dormido, Sony. Pero vamos, que estoy a punto, ¿eh? Esto es... Cada vez que sale la chapa le pongo esto.
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
Pero no me hacen caso. Esto lleva una hora para ver. Si es un tostón, tío. Es que lo veo en el Forza Horizon 5, pero me cago en la leche, tío. Me cago en la leche. Espera, te voy a poner algo, como hace tiempo que no te veo. Te pongo esto, Tony.
Hola, ¿qué haces?
Hola, ¿qué haces? Hala. Esto es un tostón, tío. Solo quiero ver un poquito de... Se me acaban de romper los auriculares estos de mierda que tenía. Estos de tipo... No sé cómo se llama. ¿Botón? No sé. Fíjate, estoy distraído con el... No, estoy actualizando una tablet... Una tablet china Chiwi o lo que se llama. Que le regalaron a mi mujer. Porque tiene Android y tiene Windows. Y llevo toda la tarde actualizando Windows. Y digo, me pongo esto, pero vamos, que... Y pongo un vídeo de esto, que vea a las chicas como bailan, de vez en cuando. Y si me aburro mucho, pues le pongo esto. Cuando me quedo dormido, le pongo esto. Y meto los emoticonos. ¡Qué bonito! ¡Wow! Te he hecho un profesional ya, ¿eh? Se me acaban de romper los auriculares estos, tío. Pues no sé qué voy a... Hay que pillar unos, tío. Suena china. Sí, chi. Es que no sé cómo se dice. Es que no quiero moverla porque... Chiwi. No, chichi no, ¿eh? Chichi no, ¿eh? No confundamos, ¿eh? No confundamos. Se me ha roto el auricular no sé por qué, tío. Voy a dar un golpe, porque siempre lo hago con golpe. A ver si se oye el golpe. A ver, ¿ahora? Pues no. Mi antigua estrategia de arreglar las cosas con golpe ya no va. Es que no se oye nada, tío. Es que no me gusta ponerme esos de diadema. Halo. No sé, yo estoy muy desconectado. Yo solo vi que el Forza Horizon 5 y se me abrieron los ojos y digo, voy a verlo. Porque eso sí que me gusta, esos juegos. Pero el Halo tampoco es que me... No, definitivamente se han roto, tío. A tomar por culo. Se oyen muy bien, me los compré en Amazon, tío. Por eso que me he metido en la orejita, tipo móvil, pero se oyen muy bien. Para ser auriculares así, se oyen muy bien. Pues se me han escacharrado, tío. Mira, viendo el tostón este, tío. Ah, pero pongo música, yo pongo vídeo, ¿eh? Ahora, por fin ha acabado, tío. Que tengo que poner el de ovación, tío. Venga, sí, no, ahora, venga. A ver ahora.
We're going from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets.
¿Para qué nos van a enseñar, tío? No, por favor, no, tío.
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
Ponernos ya el Forza Horizon, tío. Ah, pues está bien este juego. Mira de la navecita. Ahora estoy liado con el... ¿Qué? Con Mario Galaxy... No, ¿cómo era? El Mario Sunshine. Sí, no, está chulo. Se ve chulo, se ve bien. Se ve muy bonito, pero yo quiero ver un Forza Horizon. Coño.
¿Qué pollas pasa aquí?
Coño, me tengo que poner serio. Mira, ayer empecé a jugar, lo puse por Twitch, empecé a jugar otra vez al Uncharted 1. Que me encantan esos juegos, tío. Muy bien, muy contento. Hola, ya lo has visto. ¿Cuándo sale? No pone fecha, ¿no? No, que no lo he leído, que mi inglés no es muy bueno.
Yo speak English very good, vamos.
Bueno, desde el primer día, consola, y sí, sí salen, claro. ¿Esto cuánto dura, tío? Como otra vez State of Decay, no, por favor, tío. Sí, nos han metido una chapa con el Flight Simulator, una chapa con el S, con el... Bueno, no sé si me he quedado dormido entre medio.
Well, I will say this, I understand, but you got to play Psychonauts 2 already, so I don't even want to hear it.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you. be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well. I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays streams.
Bueno, a mí no tampoco me...
Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox. So make sure to check that out.
Mira, se están despidiendo ya, ¿no? Van a enseñar el Forza Horizon.
Let me say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true. Now, in June, Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, the highly anticipated
Bueno, a ver.
to 2018's breakout hit open world
Ya,
driving
pero
game,
tengo que enseñar el único juego que quería ver.
arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
Forza Horizon 4, ¿has
Our
dicho?
Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox
No me he enterado,
Twitch
tío.
channel to see all this new exclusive content.
And that is twitch.tv/Xbox for the full vroom vroom experience. And if you're already watching on Twitch,
Momento que pasa ahora.
stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom Forza Horizon 5 controller, which is available for pre-order today, so players can have
Vamos con los
it
mandos,
in
tío.
hand by November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
El 9 de noviembre sale el Forza Horizon, tío. ¿El 9 de noviembre sale? ¿En serio? No sabía. Ole tú, tío. Ole tú. Bueno, a mí el mando tampoco, que sea unas cosas de los colorinos y esas coloritos y esas cosas no... Es que es verdad, me gustaría pillarme uno de estos de los nuevos, que parece que están mejor. Pero vale mucho pasta. Lo que yo digo, 1 hora y media para ver un tráiler del Forza Horizon 5, tío. No sabes nada, ¿sabes? Te lo ponen al final. Para que no te vayas, te quedas dormido. Pues he visto que podrás jugar desde la Xbox. Yo tengo la S. Y quiero probar el X-Cloud que sale en final de año. A ver, como se vea medio bien y puedo jugar medio bien. La tengo en el comedor. Supongo que la podré ver a 4K. Porque... Vamos, ya estamos. Ahí está. Silencio todos. No me metan una chapa ahora de media hora y nos enseñes 2 minutos de juego.
Hey Charlie, how cool is this?
That is stunning. Look at that. Well, we obviously just saw a
Bueno, el mando está
video
guapo.
about it, and I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican car culture and music literally splayed right across the front, isn't that right?
Absolutely. It just feels like it's a part of the Horizon Festival. Like it's just
Sí, por eso quiero probar lo nuevo, a ver qué tal.
absolutely love it.
And there's so much we do want to show the fans, and it's
Sí, chapa, ahora chapa, tío. Ahora hay que ponerle en este, ahora hay que ponerle esto.
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
O le pongo un vídeo a todos por saco. No, este no, este ya lo he puesto.
Players are going to
Este.
set out across the largest, most diverse open world we've ever built in hundreds of the world's most
Pongo un vídeo así la gente, como, es que no me da tiempo a leer el chat, Tony. Un poco cortillas, que hay tanto color, pero bueno, está chulo, está, mira, diferente. Esto sí, por mando no será. O sea, por mando en equipo no te vas a quejar. Mando del color del pelo de la chica esta, ¿eh? A ver si pongo los vídeos estos, o sea, la chica está bailando y la gente no se aburre. Sí, porque que si no, no me da tiempo a leer el chat. Falta cojones. Vaya tela que reírse por la tío. Descanse en paz, descanse en paz, el risita, tío. Venga, la portada. Venga, vamos. Bueno, un vídeo fuera. Oh, qué coche más guapo, tío. No lo he probado yo el de Play 5 todavía. A mí esto me gusta, los coches me gustan, tío. No sé si mi ordenador va a poder mover esto, tío. Bueno, a ver, el Forza Horizon 4 lo mueve a ultra. Está muy bien optimizado, tío. Muy bien optimizado los juegos de Microsoft. Eso sí que me gusta, tío. Qué guapo el Mercedes. Es un Mercedes, tío. Pensé que era un 9 de noviembre. Pensé que era un McLaren, tío. Parece un McLaren por detrás. No sé. Hala, ya nos han enseñado eso. Espérate.
Yeah, so those differences are exactly.
Ya se me ha quedado pillado esto. Ya no puedo usar el control remote este. Como es gratis, pues dirán que lo compre. Se me ha quedado pillado. Lo reinicio y entonces le doy ahora. A ver, esto.
No, vais. ¿Qué haces? Vais.
Quita la chapa, hombre. Ponle un poquito el juego que lo veamos, hombre, por favor. Es que es... No, hombre, no.
Yes, so in a few moments' time, we'll be kicking off a Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive into loads of new content and features from Forza Horizon 5. But before that, we have 8 minutes of brand new gameplay where we're going to see both the Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo planes, and a race under beautiful Mexican skies all the way to the Horizon Festival. Should we check it out? I think we should.
Venga, va, por fin, tío. 1 hora y pico esperando para esto. Venga, va, Sony, cuídate. Muchas gracias por pasarte, tío. Cuídate. Venga, va, vamos a ver esto cómo va. Cuídate, crack. Déjalo caer como si estuviera ardiendo. Venga, va. Guys. Bueno, esto no sé yo, si esto es... Que el Forza Horizon 4 también se veía muy bien, tío. Qué guapo se ve, tío. Dios bendito. Esto es lo que me gustaba a mí, tío. Es muy arcade, pero está muy guapo, muy divertido. Muy divertido. Mira cómo se ve, tío. Madre de Dios. Se te caen los de esos al suelo, tío. Qué guapo. A ver, puede que haya tráfico. Saltito. Ahí está. Boh, saltito por decir algo. Hostia. Ahí está el Mercedes. ¿Pero esto va a caer de cara o no? Ahí está el Mercedes, qué guapo. Pero parece un McLaren, por detrás. Tío, cómo se ve, tío. Mira, ahí se ve una tormenta de arena, tú. Sí. ¿Cómo se ve, tío? Eso que está, se ve un poquito pixelado, pero no veas cómo se ve, tío. Ahí viene uno. Cuidado. ¡Cuidado! Tenemos que atravesarla, venga, va, me encantó. Vale. Pero ahí no se va a ver nada, ¿no? Madre mía, tío. Sale algo ahí, te metes una hostia. No, eso no es un Mercedes, es un Corvette, tío. Ahí va. Hostia, qué guapo el Porsche.
Next up is the Porsche 911 Desert Flyer, crashing through
Qué
the
guapo,
dense
tío.
tree canopy.
Qué ganita de jugar ya este juego, tío. Voy a tener que descargar otra vez el Forza Horizon 4. Me lo compré, teniendo el Game Pass, y saliendo día uno del Game Pass me lo compré. Y la edición tocha. Me compré. No sé si habrán metido contenido nuevo o no. Tendría que mirarlo. Un día me voy a poner a jugar. Lo voy a mirar. Tío, cómo se ve. Qué brutalidad, tío, esto, ¿eh? Mira ese cuando ha caído. Qué brutalidad, tío. Oh, estos momentos me encantan, tío. Como a la venta. A ver, que nos vamos a creer que no lo veamos. Un saltito ahí, ¿no? Machu Picchu. Autopista Horizon. Qué guapo México, ¿no? Este sí será el Mercedes ya, ¿no? No, este es un Mazda, ¿no? Ah, no, Mercedes, Mercedes. ¿Cómo parece un McLaren, tío?
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across
Qué guapo
Mexico's
Mercedes,
stunning
tío.
Rocky Coast.
México. Qué guapo, tío. Race to the Festival. Ya ves. Qué guapo la portada también, ¿eh? En Twitch, a ver, en Twitch. En Twitch. Xbox.
We have just wrapped the Gamescom 2021
Esto
Xbox
ya se
stream
nos chava,
and
tío.
have so much more content to cover, so please sit back and enjoy our latest episode of Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go live with Playground Games. We have an excellent show coming your way. So first, in case you missed it, we're going to be recapping the major Gamescom announcements from just a few moments ago, as well as taking a closer look at the Forza Horizon 5 Limited Edition Xbox wireless controller and the initial drive gameplay. Then we'll take the freshly announced cover cars for a bit of a spin and debut a brand new showcase event, as well as a few more cars along the way. So, Mike and Don, that was all very, very exciting, but I think, first of all, we need to talk a bit more about the controller, because wow, what a statement. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it came to be?
Yes, so this is it. This is the Forza Horizon 5 Limited Edition Xbox wireless controller, to give it its full title. Yeah, so it was probably around about over 18 months ago now, wasn't it? The hardware team approached us and said they really wanted to produce a limited edition controller for Forza Horizon 5, and obviously, we were like, yes.
Absolutely.
Now, we really love how it's come together. It just brings so much vibrancy and color. It just feels like it's a little piece of the Horizon Festival that's like plopped out of the screen and landed in your lap. Loads of cool features as well. Loads of little like kind of hidden Easter eggs. Yeah, it's been great, right?
Yeah, it's been awesome, and I think integrating the stuff that we've seen in the initial drive with the powder explosions and the colors on the car, on the cargo plane and whatnot, integrating that into the controller has been a lot of fun.
And for anyone else who maybe didn't pick up on camera, but the controller is also translucent as well, which I get really nerdy over translucent controllers. So I just want, in case anyone missed that detail, it is. And there is an additional detail as well, because it also comes with some exclusive car DLC, right?
It does. Yeah. So while we're on the translucency, it has a Forza logo inside it. And this thing down here is like brightly colored.
I actually missed that, so thank you.
There you go. Should we roll the VT on the video? Yeah, so those people who purchase the controller will also get some exclusive DLC. Part of that is the Forza Edition Ford Coupe, which is this amazing car right here. Looks absolutely a real eye catcher, just like the controller. You can see the paint job on there as well is inspired by the controller, so it will match. You can match out of the game and in the game.
Love it.
As we see here as well. Because it's got that exposed engine, it really takes advantage of all the ray trace reflections that we've got going on here in Forza Vista. You do get a couple of other things as well. You get a character cosmetic and an emote, so that when you win an event in your exclusive Forza,
you can let people know you did it on the controller.
Exactly.
You can really rub it in. Now, I know we announced it on the Xbox show, but to confirm, when can people pre-order and get their hands on it?
I believe it might be up for pre-order now on the Microsoft Store. Yeah, if not now, then very, very soon. And other retailers shortly after that. But I think if you want one now, then jump over to the Microsoft Store.
Perfect. Right. Well, while you go do that, let's talk a little bit more about the initial drive gameplay, which we just saw, and is, for context, the very first gameplay players will see when they experience Forza Horizon 5. So what was that like? I imagine it's a huge deal finally showing people that part of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a part of the game that we probably spend the most time working on, those initial kind of opening 10 minutes or so. It really, we want to make a statement and set out what Forza Horizon 5 is, what it's going to offer, what great things you're going to experience over the rest of the game, but condensed down into, in that instance, an 8-minute run. So you see loads of the world, you see different cars, different driving experiences. It just gives you that real like buffet of flavors that the game will offer later on.
Yes.
Smorgasbord, yes.
Yeah, it was really a challenge to try to show as much as we wanted to show without showing everything and fitting in within the nice 8-minute time that we wanted for the initial drive.
I love it. So we're actually going to take a quick look back at the highlights of that gameplay in case you missed it. So let's take it away.
That's fine. Touchdown! Not even a scratch. Feels so good.
drop! The whole festival is waiting! Strap yourselves in, Horizon! I've seen this driver before, and trust me, they know how to make an entrance.
And that's the start of the game. So you do your initial drive. After all the adrenaline floods through you after that, you actually then get to select your first car, which is what we are now looking at the moment. So can you talk us through the cars that we have on the smorgasbord right now and why they're here as well? Why do we go for these three?
Our second smorgasbord in many minutes.
I'm going to say it 5 more times. You can count.
Right, okay.
I feel like it. I just decided to add it.
Keep track in the chat if Golly does it to you for 5 more smorgasbord.
Oh, no.
So these are the 3 cars you can choose from at the start of the game. First up is the Chevrolet C8 Corvette. The car looks absolutely stunning. The insane grip that it manages to hold means it is like a really great car to start the game, and it allows you to go super, super fast, but it basically never breaks traction. Next up, we have the Ford Bronco, one of our cover cars, basically the hottest SUV of the year. And then a car that I would say needs no introduction, but we gave it a pretty cool introduction 2 weeks ago on the previous Let's Go stream. But yes, it is the 2020 Toyota Supra GR. One interesting point about the car select in this game, in previous Horizons, we had a similar layout of cars at the start of the game, but you can only pick one. It was a bit like choosing your starter Pokemon. This time, whichever one you pick, actually all 3 get added to your garage. So whether you pick the Supra, the Bronco, or the Corvette, that is only a decision that you have to live with the consequences of for as long as you want to stay in that car, as the other ones will be in your garage and go jump into them whenever you like.
Wonderful. So we are going with the Bronco first. And here we go. Letting it all soak in. This is so exciting. What a huge moment this is when you start a Forza game as well.
Bronco it is.
This is probably where I spend the most time, is just picking my license plate name. Even though I know I could change it later, it's just...
Oh, absolutely.
It still feels like it's a decision of consequence, isn't it? And you're going with the default. He didn't force us all to sit here watching him select his name. I guess we should intro Andy.
Yeah, so for anyone wondering, you will hear an additional voice on stream today, and that is the wonderful Andy, who is going to be playing, or actually doing the gameplay today. But we decided we didn't want him on camera, so he's just sat off to the side. He looks excellent. If anyone's
you may get a sneak peek of him at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yeah,
I'll work my way up to being on camera.
You'll be on the sofa next time, we promise. Okay, so we've picked the car, we picked the license plate. We're going to our first showcase event. What is this going to be? Talk us through what we're about to drive up to.
Yeah, so we've taken part in the initial drive. We've just seen 4 separate cars drop out of the back of a cargo plane, and we thought, well, what next? Let's go race against that cargo plane. And so this is a showcase event in which we will take on that cargo plane.
Perfect. And we're also hearing some characters talking during this drive as well. Who are they? Do we recognize them? Are they new?
The voice you can hear right now is Scott Tyler, the only character to have appeared in all 5 Horizon games. He is our resident DJ on Horizon Base Arena. He's also the hype man at the festival. And in this instance, if I wasn't talking over it, you'd have heard him saying that he has just been pulled off mic. He's been dragged out of the booth for a reason that might become obvious in just a few minutes' time. We're also in Mullahay now as well, right?
Yeah, we're in Mullahay, which is this this town that's right in the middle of the living desert. Very nice, charming town. And just outside the town is some festival goers.
What are they doing here?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm really excited this. I won't lie to you. There's something so exhilarating about the showcases. I cannot wait to see this. What's it like actually making a showcase, especially following the ones, for me, the ones that resonate with me the most is Forza Horizon 4. So how does that compare to making 5? I imagine there's an element of one-upping yourself, right?
Yeah, that's
how do we do 4 again, but bigger and better?
I mean, that exact sentiment applies to almost the entire game. And it is